150,000 hand-painted hearts for 150,000 lives. Stretching half a kilometre over the Thames is a new memorial to honour those killed by COVID in the previous year. Each heart was hand-painted and represents a unique individual. For some, being located across from Parliament, this is a political statement. For many others, however, it's simply a way of letting go. I talked to Sophia, just one of the many people there that day, mourning the loss of a loved one. She didn't feel comfortable in front of a camera, but still wanted to tell her story. She told me that losing her husband was very difficult, and that now she feels alone without him. But writing his name on the wall provided closure, and the group gives her comfort. The group she's talking about is the COVID-19 Bereaved Families for Justice UK. Set up last year, they're calling for an independent inquiry into the government's handling of the pandemic, whilst providing a space for those grieving during this difficult time. Lobby Akinnola, a spokesperson for the group, joined them last year after his father died in April. For him, the wall means a lot.
Again, those numbers, like the idea was that each of these hearts are individually drawn because they represent an individual person who, is unique and can't be replaced and there's no substitute for them. So yeah, we wanted to do something that was like, remember the people we've lost and let people see the scale, but also not lose the fact that it's individuals, as people, fathers, daughters, mothers, all of these people who have relationships and they've gone.
What kind of feedback have you had from sort of council members?
Everyone who I know who we've spoken to who's visited the wall or come to speak to us has really been quite supportive of the idea of the wall itself and the idea behind it. I think it's just, unfortunately in this life, loss is a universal thing. So everyone can relate to what the war means to, I think, not just the people who've lost, but also, to the UK. This event, the COVID, the pandemic, is something that has affected all of our lives in some form of degree.
Yeah, definitely. How long did that process take from the first heart to kind of like what it is now?
Yeah, I think it was just over a week, I think about 10 days. But it's something that was really, I think, magical for me to see was that, and really comforting for me was to see when I was down there painting hearts some days, people were queuing to kind of draw their own heart or spend some of their time contributing to the wall. So that was really something that's beautiful to see.
You've had numerous MPs and numerous sort of public figures down there. I know you had the Archbishop of Canterbury, you had the Rabbi Daniel Epstein down, and Sadiq Khan and Keir Starmer. What have members of Parliament said about it? Have they again been supportive of it, or?
Yeah, from what I've heard, I mean, I wasn't necessarily involved in actually speaking to members of Parliament, but the feedback that we've had has been really, really supportive. I think the people who have come down to the wall and met with us have been compassionate, really compassionate. And like you say, I think if you go down there, it's hard. I can't imagine going and not being moved by what you see. And I think when you start to think about it, each and every one of those is a person, and you can imagine that someone you love being gone, and seeing just that times 150,000 is something that's quite immense. So, people have come and been quite emotional, but from the public figures who have come down to speak to us and MPs, they've been really supportive and encouraging. And, it's nice, you see things on Twitter and things of them speaking about the wall and saying nice things about it. I think especially for people who've been bereaved, I think one thing that's difficult about loss in lockdown is that you don't have those opportunities to do what you normally do, like the rituals you go through to cope with your loss. So you can't have everyone around for a funeral. You can't necessarily be seeing your friends and things like that. And I think it's quite easy to feel like your loss hasn't been seen. So for me, at least personally, it's been really comforting to see the public and also public figures, acknowledge the loss and be supportive. But from my perspective, as far why I'm a member of this group, is because the message has always been the pain of losing someone is devastating. We want to limit that as much as possible. And we can't do that by ourselves. We need the government to support us in doing that. So hopefully things like being able to see the scale of the loss and actually, hear the stories of people who have been through this, will be able to come together and have an inquiry, find some kind of solution, some kind of closure for the people who've lost their loved ones. I think that's the aim, that's the goal.
Lobby and Sophia are just two of a very large group of people currently mourning the loss of a loved one due to COVID. Whilst the group doesn't know if the memorial is going to stay there permanently, the government have pledged to build their own COVID memorial once the pandemic's over. For now, however, the wall continues to provide some comfort and closure to those who need it the most during what is an exceptionally difficult time.